Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Catherine and I am a Iron Age Reconstructionist Druid, sometimes called a Celtic Reconstructionist Druid. If you want to know more about that, then I have a video explaining what that is. There's a link. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different to some of the stuff I've done before, which has been more planned. I was really thinking about the way in which I consume videos on YouTube, and what I really like to do is I love to do something with my hands while I watch something. It's just the type of person I am. I do a lot of crafting, so I am going to be doing some knitting. I know it looks like a mess, it's because I'm doing this pattern with, it's making like a tartan sort of pattern, so it will look a bit of a mess for a while, but once all the ends are sewn in, I'm sure it'll look nice. So I'm making a little book bag because I read a lot and it's nice to have something nice to put your book in to keep it safe to transport it around in. So today I wanted to do something that was a little more informal. I didn't want to like write a script out and read it. I wanted to really just sit down and talk about some stuff, and I find that when I knit or I sew or something like that, it helps sort of to unspool my thoughts. So I thought I'd do that. I'll sit and do a bit of knitting, and if you want to do that as well, then go ahead, please join me. So I sort of have an announcement, and it might feel like a bit of a ploy to say it's at the end of the video, but to understand like the context of the announcement itself, you sort of need to reach the end because it's about my thinking, my processing on it, my explanation. So please settle in, grab a cup of tea, coffee, hot chocolate, a glass of squash, which is what I primarily drink, and I'm just going to be doing some knitting and doing some speaking. Also, if I knit, then it makes me less self-conscious of the camera. I don't think I get super camera shy, but it does make a difference. It makes me sort of like, a bit more nervous about, I guess, saying stuff. So anyway, let's go. So I was thinking I wanted to sort of do a video on Druidry and community, right? So like this concept that the historical role of the Druid was to be part of a community. So their role was religious, absolutely. It also had a legal sort of aspect to it, but it also had this aspect that was as the community, not leader necessarily, but a facilitator. So they would have been in charge of things like if there was any rituals that needed to be taking place, if there was any sort of spiritual guidance that needed to take place. They weren't necessarily healers. I've heard some people try to sort of explain that they were like that Druids were healers, but they didn't really have that sort of aspect. They might have done, but they were more sort of for like spiritual health and for helping people perform ceremonies, things like that. I think like a lot of people, I've been struggling recently in the lockdown, but also just within my life, to think about sort of what I'm doing, the purpose of it, that sort of thing. I think like a lot of people, I've been finding it difficult with COVID obviously, but also like just as a disabled person to connect with other people at the moment. I'm also sort of like naturally quite shy, so we've just moved into a new area, which is lovely, and we've really enjoying our new house. It looks very beautiful, as you can see behind me. We've had great fun like painting the walls, things like that, but also in this sort of time period, like in this sort of moment in time, it's difficult to connect to people, right? And luckily I have sort of connected with one of our neighbours. The lady who lives next door, turns out has very similar interests to me and loves reading a lot and things like that. So that's been really, really good, that I've been able to sort of, like connect with her, and so that we've been swapping books, things like that. It's really, really nice. But I've just been having a little bit of an existential crisis. I had a little bit of ill health. I have a heart condition, and I get this thing very occasionally called BPPV, which I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a type of vertigo where basically you get these deposits in your inner ear, and it's not dangerous at all. Like, loads of people get it, but you get these deposits in your inner ear, and it affects your balance, and you have to do this type of manoeuvre. It's called like the Epley manoeuvre. I think you can do a number of them, and it dislodges it, but it makes you feel, when you have it, it makes you feel really dizzy, and really, really nauseous. It was like, sometimes it feels like you're just lying, you can lie flat and feel like the room is rocking around you. It's really horrible. So I have sort of been struggling with that, and whenever I get a bout of ill health, it always makes my mental health worse, and just questioning what I'm doing, because it's so hard, like continually putting yourself out there, continually like creating stuff, creating content, and like it gets no interest, or it feels like it doesn't, and you feel like you're invisible, and it's just really hard doing that and not taking it personally. And I know that like there's so much to do with algorithms and what people see and stuff like that, but it's really hard in that I'm trying to to start really an online business and all this sort of thing, to make some sort of impact, and it's hard that when you feel like you're just invisible, you're just lost within a sea of other people. And like my goals are, I would love to be able to make a living from what I do, from my practices, from my work, that sort of thing, but that's not my end goal. Like my ambitions in life aren't to make money, but as much as I want to, I can't go back to a pre-capitalist Iron Age society. So I was sort of struggling with these ideas, and community and druidry and so on. And then I just sort of thought, well, what do I want? What do I want from my YouTube channel? And I recently passed 100 subscribers, so that's really exciting. I know that that's like the concept of people who have millions of subscribers, it's nothing. But to me, the fact that 100 people saw one or more of my videos and wanted to see more stuff from me was like a really nice sort of thing. And I just keep thinking, well, I want to make a difference, and I'm gaining it's like I say, I know that it's not thousands of people, but still for me, gaining 100 people is still like, this seems like the best avenue to pursue. So what I really want from my practice of druidry is not to enrich myself. I hope that it does as well, but that is not my goal, that's not my purpose. And I sort of get annoyed with a lot of modern spirituality, in that it's like, it's all about, your own gain, and you do spells, you do rituals for your own gain, and I just like, it's so antithetical to the way that druidry was used. I mean, the concept of the individual just like wasn't a thing. It was all to do with your community and so on. And so like for me, a druid without a community, well, it's like, well, then I'm not really a druid at all. So I thought, well, how can I address this imbalance? How can I make this better, essentially? My yarn's got mixed my yarns got caught up so much. So anyway, I sort of thought, well, you know, obviously a druid originally would have been part of a community, because they all live together. I mean, that's pretty much the definition of a community. But then I sort of thought, well, you know, I'm not one of those people that thinks that everything, I mean, I have a YouTube channel, so I guess I wouldn't think this, but I mean, there are plenty of people who do, so, you know, critical reasoning skills, what are those? Who think, but anyway, I'm not one of those people who think that, like, that the internet is evil and that everything in society is because we have phones now. I mean, it seems like, you know, these are tools, right? Like, these are tools that we can use, that they can either be used to, like, to harm other people and to sow dissatisfaction or the sort of thing, or we can use them to build communities and to spread knowledge and to form connections with each other. So in light of the fact that I cannot form a community in person, I mean, maybe one day that would be amazing, but I thought, well, I don't want to be a druid. I do want to be a druid. Wait a second. I want to be a druid, but in the capacity of serving as a druid, right? Like, a priest is someone working with a community who has the community that they help and that they hopefully, you know, don't dictate to, but they aid. And that's what I want to do. I mean, I don't want to, like, I'm not talking about like starting a cult or something, you know, but to have that connection. So I just thought, well, why don't I do that? Like, why don't I take this fledgling community, and we can see how people do build up communities around, like, you know, people on YouTube or whatever it is, and use my knowledge to foster that, to be a druid for you, for anyone who watches this, for anyone who wants to be part of that community. And that would be giving advice spiritually, it would be answering questions you might have on the Iron Age, answering questions about how you can apply Druidry in your day-to-day lives. I want to do loads more videos like this, just talking about a topic, just like sitting here, doing some knitting, having a chat about those, you know, anything that you want to talk about. So I want it to be like a two-way conversation, right? I want it to be you telling me what you want from this. Like, if you would like a podcast, if you would like certain types of videos being made. I know that some people have asked about the gods, and I am going to do a video, well, no, I'm going to do a series of videos, each one dedicated to a different god, so I will be getting on with that. But most sort of importantly and excitingly, I want to do things like, I want, when we have Calan Gaeaf or Samhain, Halloween, coming up, I want to do a like a live video, and we can do a ritual together. Like, it doesn't matter, no matter where you are, whether you're in the middle of the countryside in England, whether you're in the middle of a city in America, whether you're wherever you are in the world, whatever circumstances you're in, maybe you cannot openly practice, maybe you are in an environment where it might be risky for you to, or you don't have the money to be able to buy resources like cauldrons, stuff like that. I do want to do some more rituals where you don't need as much stuff, because I'm very, very against this idea that to get spiritual, to be able to participate in spiritual rituals, that you need to basically shell out for things. I definitely don't want that. So yeah, I really want to basically provide those resources. So on the 31st of October, as soon as the sun sets here in the UK, or well before that, I will do a live stream of my ritual, and I want you to join me and to participate in it with me in whatever capacity you choose. I will be doing some videos about like preparations for Calan Gaeaf, any the stories behind it, the things we can do before the ritual, things you might need for the ritual if you want to physically participate, but also because Calan Gaeaf is about the season change. It's about going from summer to winter. It's about going into the darker half of the year. And to do that, we really need the community together. We need to huddle around each other around a virtual fire and to prepare for the long winter ahead. And particularly in this year, right? Like this year that we've all been experiencing, we need that community connection more than ever, and that is what I want to provide. I want to be a resource for you, for anyone who comes across this channel. And so my goal isn't to make a load of other people druids, although if you want to and you want to sort of call yourself a druid, then absolutely I hope I can help you. But I also want to provide that service. That's what I want to do. That's how I want to bring meaning to my life and hopefully to yours. And I really hope that I can do that. I am going to be putting together some little druidry kits, like a beginner's druidry kit, like an apprentice one, and then a master one. And I will be selling those through my Etsy shop, but I want to do more than that. I want to do more than just provide physical things for people, and I hope that I will be able eventually at some point to be able to make a living from it. I don't want to, like I say, my goal isn't to make a load of money, but any money that I can make from it will mean that I can spend more time dedicated to druidry, dedicated to serving you. So please let me know what you would like. Please let me know the types of services you would like. I'm not going to provide legal, health advice, anything like that, but spiritual advice. I realised that I messed up this pattern somewhere, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to have to change that at some point. Oh god, undo the whole thing and start again. But sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you need to undo the whole thing and start again. So I want to be here for you, to conduct rituals, to help to give you advice, to share my knowledge, because the stuff I learned is, obviously it's fascinating for me and so spiritually rewarding, and I want to share that with other people. You shouldn't have to do a master's degree to know the things I know. You should have access to this information, and there's so much disinformation out there. And maybe I will do a video a little bit about some disinformation, but I don't really want to shame people for not knowing things that I only know because I had the resources to do a master's degree. That's a huge privilege, and I understand that, and I want to put it to good use, right? Please let me know what you would like to see. I will have more information about doing a Calan Gaeaf festival live stream with you. Please let me know the sort of things you would like to see in that. I thought basically what we could do is we could do the ritual itself, we could do a bit of preparation before, that sort of thing, and then as soon as the sun sets, conduct the ritual, because basically the reason it happens at sunset is because the ancient Britons considered that the end of the day, or like the sunset, was the start of a new day, basically because that's when they could see the stars and the moon, and they were great astronomers and they could tell the date extremely accurately from those. So I find that really fascinating. But we could, basically the way in which Calan would have been celebrated was through a bonfire. They had several rituals that they would perform. I actually do have a garden now, so I might not have a full-on fire, but I'll at least like have a candle and the cauldron, and we can give some ritual offerings to Gwyn ap Neith, who is the god of death and the psychopomp who guides souls into Annwn, the land of the dead, and we can say some prayers to him and honour him, give him some offerings, and we can talk about some of the tales associated with him. We can talk about the great romance that he's part of Gwyn and Creathelad, and just talk about some Welsh myth. We can talk about the winter ahead. We can talk about how we are going to steel ourselves for the winter. I hope that this is as exciting for you as it is for me, because I really want to make the most of this opportunity, and that I hope that I can provide something really useful for you, and that you are going to get so much from. Like, I don't want it to be a thing of people worrying that they're conducting rituals wrong, that they don't have the right equipment, that they aren't saying the prayers right, that they aren't pronouncing Welsh names correctly, because I know that it is, confusing a lot of the time. So like, I want that to be my own responsibility. I want this to be like a welcoming place. I want this to be a place where people can, come and relax and enjoy and get so much from it. So thank you so much for watching this. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this, if there's anything you'd like to know, if there's anything you'd like me to cover, things like that. If there's any sort of other resources that I can provide, I would be really really grateful for that. If you'd like to help me to create some of this content, I do have a Ko-fi link, so that will be in the description, and you can donate as much as you like. You can buy me a virtual cup of coffee. I'm afraid I don't actually drink coffee because of my heart condition. I can't drink caffeine, but any amount that you would like to give will only go towards me being able to make more things for you. So absolutely there's no pressure. None of this is going to be behind a paywall. Thank you so much for watching this. It really helps me out if you could give me a like, and if you aren't subscribed already and you want to be part of this, then you can hit subscribe, and I'm sure you know the whole spiel of click the bell notification to be notified when I put up more videos, and then you'll also know when I'm doing live videos, when I'm doing the rituals, so that might be exciting. So now that we've reached the end, I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I've been doing recently. I've seen other YouTubers do this and I really like it. I just think it's a nice way of like connecting with people. If you don't want to know about any more of that, then you can absolutely go now. But I just wanted to talk about a couple of things that I've been like consuming recently that I enjoyed. So I recently read The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really good book. It's about these two twin sisters who live in a community of like very light-skinned black people in the south of the United States, and as they grow up they both sort of run away from home, and one of them ends up marrying another black man. She has a child. She escapes that relationship and goes back to living within her community, and her child grows up to be black, and the other woman pretends to be white, marries a white man, and their resulting child looks white. So it's sort of about colorism, about how race is constructed, about the racism of like the 1960s, 1970s, and through to like the 80s and 90s. It was really good. The prose was excellent. I really enjoyed the candidness, the way in which you thought that the character might act you know, these characters might act in a certain way, but the way that that was subverted, and the to get very boring and like very technical, like the liminality of identity, and like this question of like, if once you have stepped over a certain point, can you ever go back? Which is sort of underlined by this one transgender character. So yeah, that was really fascinating. I've also just finished watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I really enjoyed. The Haunting of Hill House. I haven't read the book yet, but I do want to, because I love ghost stories. But I have read The Turn of the Screw, which is what Bly Manor is based on. It's very different from the book. It sort of takes the central premise and sort of goes from there. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people are saying that the accents are really bad, and like the British accents are bad. There's a couple that maybe are a little bit iffy, and one of them like is perhaps the wrong accent for that character, but otherwise like they're fine. I don't understand why people are going on about it, honestly. Like, they're absolutely fine. I don't know what else to say other than that, like, yes, like, there's not a standard British accent. I don't get it. Like, we basically have a different accent for each different postcode in the UK. So, and the fact that like sometimes the characters would go in and out of one accent, which, I mean, I guess you could say sloppiness, but also it's kind of accurate. Like, my accent changes, you know, depending on who I'm speaking to, because I grew up in England, and sometimes I'll have a bit of a Herefordshire sort of accent, and sometimes I'll have a bit of a London accent, or a bit of a London like twang, I suppose, because I lived in London for like 5 years and now I've moved to Wales, and sometimes I'll have a little bit of a Welsh accent or an intonation. So yeah, it was a very weird thing to, I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was scary. I thought that there were some very creepy elements, which I like. I like sort of creepy, weird stuff, and I sort of want to write something spooky. I have written a bit of horror before, and I kind of really want to write there's a couple of things I'd like to work on, using sort of a bit of druidry, a bit of class sort of criticism, stuff like that, you know, my usual sort of trademarks. So I've been really enjoying that. I'm currently reading a book that is the first in a series. My mum lent me a book, but she lent like the third book in a trilogy, so I have to read the first two to. She's like, oh no, you can just read it. I'm like, no, I need to read the trilogy. So it's one of those books, it's sort of like, everyone talks about how funny it is, but I mostly found it kind of weird and bleak. Like, I don't find it funny. Maybe it's like some boomer humour that I didn't get, I don't know. But yeah, that's going well. I also need to work on my my novel, the retelling of Gwyn and Cray the Lad, but I have not been doing that. Maybe I should work on that now, seeing as my knitting is in tatters. But thank you so much for watching, especially if you have watched all the way through to this, me rambling about knitting and my writing and God, stuff like that. Also, sorry that the sun is suddenly very bright, and it's probably like messing up my image a little bit. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I will be back soon. Yeah, I think I am going to be doing a series of the gods, and I might be sharing another ritual, one that is like a morning meditation sort of ritual. It's a very small one, and you don't need a cauldron to do it. You just need a cup and a bowl. So let me know if you'd like to see that. If there's any gods you particularly like to learn about, or if there are any like things that you're not sure are correct in Druid, because I see a lot of stuff that is like incorrect. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye!